Hey Year 11, here I am again, nice warm Canberra. Let's learn today exercise 9E. Okay, so we're going to continue with interest and depreciation, and we're looking at exercise 9A. D. Get away. Alright, so we're going to be looking at GST and calculating GST. So what is GST? It stands for Goods and Services Tax. When you buy goods, or you pay for a service like having a haircut, you pay GST. This money is collected by businesses and sent to the government. Some basic items like bread or milk or medical expenses may be GST exempt. So anything that you must have may be GST exempt. All right. So GST in Australia is 10%. Now, as you know, I'm in Canberra, and sometimes when you're in Canberra, you have to go to the shops. So I did that. And if you have a look on this invoice I bought some activewear, cost $20. If you look down here, okay, it tells you how much GST was added to that bill. So I paid $20, but of that $20, $1.82 was GST. Now, I've deleted all of this stuff so you can't get my credit card number. All right. So, to calculate GST, you find 10% of the pre-tax price. Okay? Now, that's in Australia because we have a GST rate of 10%. Here's an example. John bought a concert ticket with a pre-tax price of $142. He was also required to pay a 10% GST. So the first question says, how much GST is payable? So to find out how much GST, we find 10% of the pre-tax price. 10% times $142 is $1.42. What was the total cost of the ticket including the GST? So how much did John actually pay? Okay, so we're going to add the 10% to the pre-tax price. So he's $142. That goes to the concert organisers, and $1.42 that goes off to the government, and in total he pays $143.42. And you might think $1.42 that the government's not getting much, but think about every single time someone in Australia buys something, the government's getting that GST from it, unless it's something like bread or milk or medicines. All right. So, back to my tights, and this isn't me, and they're not my tights. To calculate GST, given the GST inclusive price, and remember my tights, they said $20, we divide the amount by 110%, and that'll get us back to the pre-GST price, or divide by 11, which will find us the GST. Okay? So here's my tights. Remember they cost $20, and in that bill it said GST inclusive. So from that, 100% of that cost was the shop's price. 10% was the government's extra. So you can see where 110% is coming from, the shop's price and the GST. To find how much of the $20 is the GST, divide by 110%, and then take that away from $20. So there's my pre-GST price. Take $18.18 from $20, it's $1.82. Or you can just go $20 divided by 11, okay? Okay, if we go back to John's concert ticket question, remember John paid a total for this new concert ticket of $149.60. How much GST was included in the price? Because this is an Australian question with a 10% GST, I just like to divide by 11. I find it really easy. I have to remember that though, because 11 will never come up on any formula sheets or in any exams. So $149.60 divided by 11, $13.60. What was the pre-GST cost of the ticket? That's what he paid. That's how much went to the government. $136 was the pre-GST cost of the ticket. That's how much the organisers would have received for this one. Okay, so in Australia we have GST, the goods and services tax, but in some other countries they might have a GST or they might call it a VAT, a value added tax, and it's another term for GST pretty much. So New Zealand has a 15% value added tax. Okay, that's pretty current. Canada's is 5%. Over to Chile, 19%. Israel, 17%. You can see all these numbers, they're all random. Okay, it's just what the governments of those countries decide. And Vanuatu, maybe because it's not too far from New Zealand, I don't know, is 15%. Okay, so they're value-added taxes, and they're just the same as a GST. Very similar. All right, let's work on this question. Singapore has a VAT of 5%. Olivia bought a microwave in Singapore for $275 plus a value-added tax of 5%. So it's really important. It says plus a value-added tax. So she pays that plus that. So how much VAT is payable? 5% of $275, $13.75. What was the total cost of her microwave? How much did Olivia actually have to pay? Well, she had to pay the shop $275. She had to pay the government's extra $13.75. So that comes up at $288.75. Okay. Now, if we keep going in Singapore with a VAT of 5%, we'll do part C. What was the pre-tax price of another microwave if its final price was $672? Okay, so if this was in Australia and 10%, we'd take that 672 and divide it by 110 because our GST is 10%. So for this Singapore question, we're going to take 672 and divide it by 105%. Okay, and that'll give us the pre-tax price. So that microwave would have cost, well, would be selling by the shop for $640, so $640 to the shop owners, okay, and the rest would go to the government. If you wanted to know exactly how much went to the government, you would just go 672, take away 640, okay. So because this had a VAT of 5%, it was 105. If it was in Australia, we'd have 110%. If it was in maybe New Zealand, 115%, okay, so this percentage depends on what the VAT or the GST rate is. All right, there's nothing too tricky in this exercise. If you need help, you've got your guided notes and you've got your the work solutions on Google Classroom. You've also got Miss Agner in 402 and Mr. Flavel in 404. Okay, so there's heaps of help around. All right, good luck with this.